Listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. I know that my public comments and my silence about this matter gave a false impression.
Could Tim Kennedy actually be prosecuted for stolen valor? Well, we need to examine the legal framework surrounding stolen valor and the specific allegations against Tim, or Timmy, right? And how they align with federal law. And this would have to do with the Stolen Valor Act of 2013, 18 U.S.C. Section 704. So the allegations against Kennedy, as detailed in the provided videos that we're gonna look at in a minute, or at least one, center on claims that he falsely stated or implied that he received a Bronze Star with a V device, and that's the Valor device. So we know that pretty much every Army officer has got a Bronze Star, right? But without the V, the guys who are in the know that it's really just like, it's not a big deal. But that getting that V for Valor is a big deal. And in the Marine Corps, we don't get that many ribbons. I know in the Army, they get one, I think, for typing. They get one for throwing a grenade. But in the Marine Corps, if you see a guy with a salad bowl, you know that he earned every single one of those ribbons. Well, except for national defense, right? Everybody gets one of those. In this case, he also claimed that he had other military honors like a Purple Heart and allegedly exaggerated his combat experiences in a book called Scars and Stripes. And he also made a lot of public statements that don't seem to pass historical or truthful muster. And so we're going to analyze the legal basis for which he could be prosecuted. And because he is an active duty, or at least a reservist, so he's still in the military, civilians typically can't be prosecuted for stolen valor. I mean, they probably could be, but because of starting under Obama, it became so relaxed that it's highly unlikely. But in this case, because he's still under the UCMJ, there's a chance that he could be, because stolen valor is a big freaking deal to special forces guys, just like it is with Marines. I mean, from what I've seen, the special forces community and the Marine Corps in particular is really, really big on integrity and upholding the ethos of the military. I mean, it's in the Marine Corps, they like drill it into you in basic. Chesty Puller, Dan Daly, all these guys, and just talk about what amazing men they were. And so this is a big deal. So now the penalties could be up to a year in prison, fines, or both if convicted. He could even lose his Ranger tab. Now, the constitutional limits apply only to false claims made with intent to gain tangible benefits, not mere exaggeration or boasting. So the allegations was dishonest about receiving a Bronze Star with a Valor device. He claimed that he received one but his DD-214 says that no, he didn't. And then, of course, Tim had a lawyer come out and say, no, that's not true. He really did get all this stuff. So allegedly. So this is a big deal. Tim later admitted in a July 8th X video that I implied directly or indirectly that I had been awarded the Bronze Star with Valor. That is not true, and there is no excuse for it. Well, I didn't see him imply it. I saw him say it. So I don't know where that's coming from, and it reminded me of the Bill Clinton video. Let's listen to what Valhalla has to say. I've got no skin in the game with this guy. I'm not getting any money for this. I just want to support him because I think he's freaking cool as hell. So let's check out what he's got to say.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And yes, if you haven't seen it already, Tim Kennedy finally, after 7 long, grueling months, put out this half-assed admission, half-assed apology, finally sort of admitting to the fact that, yes, he lied multiple times about having Valor Awards and Bronze Star medals with Valor, kind of like the 10 videos I put out exposing it. And man, you know what? There's a lot of you out there that owe me and Brent Tucker an apology because, yes, it turns out we were right the entire fucking time. Now, why should people are going to say, he finally admitted something about it. You should leave him alone. Fuck no. It took 7 months. We're going to go through this half-assed, written by a lawyer, apology or whatever it's supposed to be. I'm going to talk about why he wrote this, okay? So that's what we're going to do in this video. It's not going to be a real long one. Let's pull it up and see what old Timmy's publicist had to write for him. Of course, he couldn't do it by video. He couldn't put out a real apology. He put it out over fucking Instagram. But let's take a read, and we're going to diagnose some things as we go through this, okay? He says, I want to take full and unequivocal responsibility for a serious mistake. Over the years, I made public statements and gave interviews in which I unintentionally...
Okay, so you see there, when he talks about unintentionally, that's a lawyer talking, because they're trying to skirt, in my opinion, the stolen valor statute. Because if he admits that he did it intentionally, right, then he can be prosecuted. But on the flip side, if you're in the special forces community, everybody knows that he's full of shit, right? He just lost all credibility with his community. So to me, it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So let's keep listening.
Misstated aspects of my military service. Most notably, I implied directly or indirectly that I had been awarded the Bronze Star Medal with Valor. No. You didn't imply shit. You stated directly, yes, I have a Bronze Star Medal with Valor, and then told a bullshit story about how you got it. You didn't do that on accident. You didn't do that unintentionally. If you're going to apologize, and this is one of 1,000 things he's lied about, right? So again, finally, after 7 months, he apologizes for one little thing he lied about. Not lying about his 20-plus combat deployments, or killing 20 people from a sniper tower, or killing a bunch of women and children, or throwing grenades at children, or, executing dead soldiers in Afghanistan. None of that, but just this one. But let's keep moving. It says, that is not true, and there is no excuse for it. Man, it's crazy. It took 7 months for you to admit this. I never received that honor, and I deeply regret suggesting otherwise. I don't think so. That kind of recognition is sacred. Yes, it is. To those who truly earned it, and to their families and brothers in arms, I offer my sincere and direct apology. What I said disrespected your service, and I take full ownership of that. No, he's not taking any fucking ownership of his lies. Barely. All he's doing is that he's finally caught so red-handed that he has to admit to one lie. All right? I was young when I stepped into the public eye. You made those...
I don't even know that it's an admission.
Those lies in 2017 and 2019, dude. You weren't that young. And while I wasn't prepared for the scrutiny or pressure that came with it, that doesn't absolve me. I should have known better. Integrity is not situational, and I failed to uphold the standards I claim to represent. To the military and veteran...
So he's blaming it on his youth. Well, I know from being in the Marine Corps that a 19-year-old Marine, if he does far less than what Tim has done, he's going to lose all of his rank. He's going to, at a minimum, get office hours and end up being restricted to confinement, maybe even bread and water. I mean, it's no joke, man. Let's keep listening.
Veteran community, trust me, there's no coming back for you with us. Especially those I've served in combat and lost people they love. I'm deeply sorry. I know that I've let many of you down. You had every right to expect more from me and didn't live up to that. Okay, so before we get into this last part, I want you guys to understand something. Okay? This needs to be very clear to you. Tim Kennedy is not finally apologizing and admitted that he lied and admitting we're right after 7 months. He's doing it because he's under investigation by U.S.C, and his lawyer is making him do it. Okay? He's got no integrity.
I would say that that's a fair statement because, again, we talked about the statute and the intent requirement. But I'll be shocked if Army Special Forces Command, or whatever they call themselves, the Green Beret Command, again, I'm come from a Marine Corps background, doesn't just strip him of his Green Beret tab, but I think they may strip. I think he's got a Ranger tab too, if I'm not mistaken. He'll get all of his tabs pulled, probably lose his rank, and he could even lose his retirement if he's entitled to that. So that would be what the Marine Corps, I guarantee you, would have done. I don't know how the Army has a little bit more relaxed restrictions in the main Army, but I'm pretty sure that Special Forces Army isn't going to go along with this crap. And they're going to push back if regular Army says, no, we're not going to do it. But let's keep listening.
He doesn't actually feel bad about this. Okay? It's all fucking PR bullshit because he's so caught red-handed. Let's keep moving. This apology is not the end. It's the beginning. I'm committed to rebuilding trust through honest reflection, visible accountability, and ongoing service to the community I misrepresented myself to. I will no longer speak about my service in a way that elevates me beyond what I actually did. From now on, my words will be guided by truth, humility, and respect. I understand the words alone don't heal disappointment and restore trust. Only time and action will. Yeah, you need to get on a fucking podcast with Brent Tucker and myself, and we can do a 4-hour-long podcast where we go through every goddamn thing you've lied about in your military career. How about that? How about you do that?
I don't think that he can. I don't think that Tim can, because he is under major, major scrutiny. And anything that he says or does can and will be used against him. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. And so I honestly think that he's really put himself in a tough spot. And that's why, like they used to tell us in boot camp, integrity, recruit, integrity is everything. And look, a lot of people are guilty of conflating their military service. They all want to, if you were in the Marines and you were motor T, you want to say you were infantry. If you were infantry, a lot of guys will bullshit and say they served in force reconnaissance. There's always like something someone wants to lie about. And that's why I'm always careful to tell you guys, look, I was in for less than a year. I got injured, but I love the Marine Corps and I wish that I could have stayed in. I wanted to be a lifer because I don't want it to come back and blow up in my face. And the fact that I made it through boot, which was really tough back then, we didn't have female drill instructors teaching the males who have a lower physical standard than us. We didn't have all that DEI crap. It was like legit. It was almost as tough as the boot camp my dad went through. So to me, that's a big freaking deal. Less than 1% of the population can claim what I was able to do. But I have absolutely nothing on this guy. Let's keep on listening.
Then we'll all absolve this. We'll say that's good enough. This bullshit fake apology ain't going to get it done. All right, so thank you to those who've held me accountable. Me and Brent Tucker. Yeah, you're welcome, I guess. You didn't reach out to us. You didn't let us know about this, so don't think you really give that much fuck about us, right? Yeah, that's a little fake ass. Thank you. I will do my best to honor that accountability from this point forward. Tim Kennedy. You would think finally having him have to fucking begrudgingly teeth pull admit that we were right the entire time after telling us to go fuck ourselves, after mass bot reporting our videos, after trying to send all those little meat riders to downvote our videos. You would think after all that we'd be okay with a half-assed apology, but we're not. Nope. You got to actually come fucking clean. We are not done with you. Not I unintentionally misrepresented a thing I said. Not going to do it, bud. Hope you see this because, yeah, fuck that, dude.
All right. So that was pretty awesome. Give me a bunch of ones for Valhalla. Super cool channel. Let me give you his full. Hold on. Stand by 1 second here. So his name is Valhalla VFT. And he's got 182,000 subscribers. I was watching him, I think, when he only had like 10 or 20,000 subscribers. I really like this guy. I think he's a super legit patriotic American. And I would like it if all of you guys would go and like and subscribe to his channel. It's a really great channel. He's got great guests on, and I think he's going places because of his integrity, and also because I think the guy is probably in the 140, 160 IQ range. He's not like some dumbass infantryman. He's a super smart guy. I believe he's got a college degree and all that stuff. So, he's got the ability to intellectually get ahead in the world, not just because of his brawn, but he looks like a typical Viking, a Valhalla kind of a guy. Me being a Swedish guy, Swedish and Norwegian, I'm all for it. I just love the guy's channel. So please support his channel. Now, there is historical precedent for people forgiving people who are liars and even trying to reelect them into office and trying to blame other people. And unfortunately, that is probably half of our society. But the society that's military isn't going to support him. So probably what Tim could do is he could start supporting Democrats, and he might be able to pull one of these.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. I know that my public comments and my silence about this matter gave a false impression.